Welcome to the English language. I'm Sarah, and I teach English to speakers of other languages. I also love learning languages myself. I created these videos to help you in your language learning journey. In this video, I'll teach you one of the best ways to learn English, or any foreign language for that matter. I'll show you how to use word cards. Word cards are also called flashcards. I'll talk about the best way to use word cards, how to select the words, phrases, and sentences to put on the word cards, and also why they work. What is a word card? A word card is a stiff piece of paper with an English word on one side and the translation of that word in your own language on the other side. Here are a few examples of word cards. This is one of my favorite sizes. It is 2 inches by 3.5 inches, and I will have a link for this on my website so that if you like this kind of word card, you can order it. This is another good size for a word card. This is 3 inches by 2.5 inches. And what I do to make these is take a 3x5 index card, which is very inexpensive, and cut it in half. So how do you choose the words to put on your word cards? First of all, you want to choose words that will be useful to you. There are links on my website to the lists of the most common words in English, and there is also a link to survival phrases on Paul Nation's site. These are phrases that you really need when you first go to a country. Things like thank you, excuse me, and where is the bathroom? If you are taking an English class, which I strongly recommend, your teacher will also be giving you vocabulary words, and there will be words in your textbook as well. What's the best way to use word cards? First of all, it's important that you can pronounce the word on your word card in English. To learn the pronunciation, you can either go on your phone and look up Google Translate, and they will give you a pronunciation there. Or you can even ask a native speaker how to pronounce it. To begin using the cards, first write down the word that you want to learn in English on one side of the card, and on the other side of the card, write down the translation in your own language. I usually work with about 20 cards at a time. As you look at each word in English, on the English side, try to remember what that word means in your language. When you have memorized all the words going from English to your language, then turn the cards over. Looking at the words in your own language, try to remember what the word is in English. That's a little bit harder to do, and it may take a little bit longer. It's also best to mix the cards up so that you don't always look at them in the same order. How often should you work with the cards? Scientists who study the brain tell us that we should have between 6 and 7 encounters with a new word to really remember it. They also know that these encounters need to be spaced out over time. This helps because it moves the knowledge from your short-term memory, which is also called your working memory, into your long-term memory. So, on your first day with a new deck of cards, go through the cards once or twice. Do it again later in the day and maybe before you go to bed. On the next day, go through those cards yet again, and the following week, go through the cards again. A month later, go through them again and make sure you know them. I like to bring my cards with me wherever I go. When you're standing in line, waiting at the bank or at the grocery store, it's nice. You can just pull them out of your pocket and study them. To keep track of the spaced repetitions, I use what I call a word box. It's also known as a Lightner box or a hand computer. To use that, I start with the cards in the first section. As I learn those cards, I put them in the next section. Any words I don't know, I return to the first section, and I keep doing that. Move the cards from the second section as you learn them to the third section. When you go through the ones in the third section, any you forgot, you put back in the beginning section. You do that until you go through all 6 sections. When you finish that, and this, again, you're spacing this repetition out over time. First day, second day, a week later, a month later. Once you really know the words, then you can put it at the very back of your box or in a separate box, and you can feel really good as that box gets fuller and fuller. Those are all cards that you now have in your vocabulary. There are also electronic versions of word cards, which I will describe in a later video. I really like the handwritten cards. I think they help me remember better than the electronic versions. Why do word cards work? Scientists who study learning know that the best way to learn things is by testing yourself on them and also by spacing out your learning sessions. This helps you move new vocabulary into your long-term memory. So word cards are one of the very best ways to learn new vocabulary.